Hey everybody, this is Presto.
CorporalNosaj.
Oh boy. And this is our full review of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Hold on, let me cue up the music a little louder. Yes, it is finally time to review the game. We could have reviewed it earlier. It's true, the game's been out for... how long? Like 10 days? No.
Yeah.
Almost 2 weeks? Well, it's Thursday. It has been 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's been out 2 weeks. We almost did a first impressions review a little bit earlier, but we wanted to make sure that we played enough of the game to talk about it. To talk about it all. Talk about everything. And I feel like between the two of us, we got most of the game covered, I think. We got opinions on everything. Hey, Tom. Hello. Welcome in. Yeah, so before we get started...
How's it going, Tom?
Corporal's got a new toy, a new mic, so this episode is going to taste extra tasty. Hold on, I have to share this all over the internet. Yeah. Have you played enough of it yet, Tom? I've played enough of it. You know this.
I mean, I feel like I have.
You have. We've played enough to do a review.
Yep.
We've definitely played enough to do a review. I still have a lot more to play. Corporal still has a lot more to play. There's plenty game to be played, and there's a lot to play, that's part of the review, actually. But before we get started in all that, Corporal, what I was gonna say, what have you been playing? But gee, I wonder. Sorry, that's what I meant. You've played loads of it. Haha, I love seeing that. Yes, yeah. I've basically played nothing else. I've played a little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
But mostly Sunbreak. By the way, before we go any further, huge shout out, thank you as always to our benevolent partners at Capcom for hooking us up with review copies, deluxe review copies, no less, of Sunbreak. So, shout out to Capcom. Corporal, what are you drinking? Because that I don't know.
I meant to grab myself some rum, but I forgot. I left my glass downstairs, so I guess all I have is this bottle of water and Gatorade.
That's heartbreaking, but at least it's not Mountain Dew.
So I read somewhere, and then I saw on TikTok, that in some countries, Mountain Dew is banned, considered for health concerns.
A lot of countries it's banned. I've told you this.
No. They just haven't tried the Purple Thunder. That's what the real problem is. Speaking
of Purple Thunder, I got my Magnum Aloe finally in a spot in the background.
Nice.
He is Purple Thunder.
My Magnum Aloe is sitting over here on the villain shelf.
Now, why is he on the villain shelf, Corporal?
Because he's on the villain side.
He is a nice little chunky cat boy. It's not his fault that he
kind of hard to see with the mic here. I'll move the mic out of the way so you can see.
Oh, I see him. Is that Ike?
Yeah.
Ike is not a villain.
Yeah, Ike is a villain.
Ike is not a villain. So jealous of the Yes, I was fiending for that Magnum Aloe for a long time. I don't know. What have I been drinking? I've been drinking a lot of coffee.
Nintendad time. Hello, Triad Dragonfang.
I've been drinking a lot of
Martin,
coffee.
Welcome in.
Powering. What's up, Martin? Keeping my Monster Hunter brain on. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. So
totally destroyed Tira's name wrong. I'm sorry.
Who? Oh, Tira. Yes. We've been playing.
Tyrad.
She's been jumping into some lobbies, yeah.
Yeah, she jumped into my Sunday stream lobby and helped get us grind through some of the quests that we were doing.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been really enjoying the multiplayer hunts, but I have to say, I apologize to anybody who's in multiplayer hunts with me, because I am learning very quickly.
You suck?
No, I'm amazing, but I kind of suck. The main thing that I use, my main damage dealer, is Bullet Barrage for Gunlance, where I go forward and I go boom, huge explosion, does so much damage. But I learned that if I hit another player with that explosion, it topples them. So, like I was playing with Tom earlier on his stream today, and I went in and I went boom, and Tom's like, "What's going on? Like, there's no monsters around me. What happened?" And I'm like, "Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I keep doing that to people. I don't realize it because I mostly play single player, but I'm waiting to get kicked out of a lobby because it's going to happen. I would kick me out of a lobby. Presto playing PvP. That's the upcoming content expansion is a PvP arena. It's just longsword versus gunlance. Yeah, so let's get into it. So, if you don't know, if you're joining us on YouTube or you're a fan of the podcast and you haven't played Monster Hunter Rise came out last March. Not this past March, but the March before. As the newest flagship Monster Hunter game. Sunbreak just came out 2 weeks ago as a massive expansion to Sunbreak. Tira, flinch-free is your friend. Thank you. I will be handing out flinch-free decorations after the episode for anybody who wants to partake. That should be my penance. Is anybody who gets flinched by me, I should have to go help them grind for flinch-free decorations.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, Sunbreak is the massive expansion. We've been playing it, and now we're going to talk about it. First of all,
before you go any further, this is something that Capcom and the Monster Hunter franchise does a lot, and I find it very interesting that Monster Hunter is the brand name, Rise is the title of the game, Sunbreak is the DLC expansion, but now that Sunbreak is out, just like that with Iceborne, it's as if the game Monster Hunter Rise does not exist. It's now Monster Hunter Sunbreak. It's now Rise Sunbreak. It's as if the base game was just the platform to bring in the DLC. And it's an interesting take, because from an advertisement standpoint, they go full tilt into rebranding Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. I don't know any other franchise that releases a DLC and then changes the name of their title game because of the DLC.
That is a fair point. I never thought about that before.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's a unique thing that I've only seen with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other titles.
Like Street Fighter, we've got Mr. Nightmare DLC, but the game has not been changed to Streets of Rage. Yeah.
Yeah. You always say Street Fighter. You're like, you want to play some Street Fighter 4? And I'm like, yes. And you're like, no, Streets of Rage. That's true. Actually,
Fate Maker on Twitch makes a good point. Destiny 2 did start doing that. Yeah. They were like, oh, it's Destiny 2 or it's Destiny whatever the biggest expansion is.
But it's always, people always say, oh, are you playing Destiny 2? Oh, we're streaming some Destiny 2. Well, I guess in the Destiny 2 community, people say like, oh, we're streaming, Witch Queen or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that's true, because when World came out, it was World and then Iceborne, and now most people will say, oh, Iceborne. Or they'll say Monster Hunter World.
They'll say Monster Hunter World for the sole purpose of, that's the game, but most people are asking, are you playing Iceborne?
Iceborne was the first DLC Monster Hunter game before we had G rank, Master Rank equivalent, in the game we purchased. Iceborne was the first DLC we had G rank. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, so DLC. Yeah, so World in previous titles you had G rank as like a rank you could get, but Iceborne World released without G rank, and then Iceborne added G rank in, and that's the same thing that's happened
with Sunbreak.
Sunbreak, but it's called Master rank.
Master rank, yeah.
I like Master rank. I know old heads for Monster Hunter will always refer to it as G rank. Sunbreak DLC worth every penny, and I think it's actually something I have at the end of the episode, but it seems like a natural thing to say now. Is I think it makes sense because if you get Streets of Rage 4 is a good example. Streets of Rage 4, you get the DLC and you get some new things. Sunbreak is really more like a sequel to Rise because there's more content in Sunbreak than there is in base Rise.
So
because I've gotten to the end of the game and there's more. There's a lot more. That was
the true purpose for bringing that topic up, was because I feel like they basically gave you another game. It's Monster Hunter Rise 2, but
you had to beat the first one.
Yeah, like it's unique. It's like I don't see many other games that do that. It's interesting. It's fun. I find it unique to this type of game. I wonder why. It has nothing to do with the episode that we have planned or our show notes, but it was something that I thought about.
And yeah, Martin's point, there are going to be content updates, like a bunch of content updates, which is, I want to save that for last because that's like a looking into the future kind of thing. So I guess let's start with this question, and I think this actually fits better into the thing. Is Sunbreak worth it? Is Sunbreak enough? Because a lot of people were worried because the marketing for Sunbreak started up a little slower than some people would have liked. We really didn't start to get the juicy information until about 3 months ago. And people were worried that Sunbreak was going to kind of be too light. It was going to be too easy because Sunbreak or Rise, when it released, it was a little light. It was a little easy. And then they rounded it out with, the updates 2.0, 3.0. They added in all the event quests. Is Rise worth the money? And do you think it lives up to the hype of massive expansion?
So, yes. To answer the question bluntly.
Oh, I have a different answer than you.
For the sole reason that Sunbreak delivers almost the exact same amount, if not more, or equal to content as the base game. Most DLCs don't give you equal share of the base game. They give you a portion. And for a lot of AAA titles, they will give you multiple DLCs that may be combined or equal to most of the base game, but Sunbreak, from what I have seen so far, has the exact same amount of content, which that's exciting. And we did an episode a while back, for those of you who've been following along with us, take a shot. You will remember that we talked about whether or not DLC and the money that's spent for DLC is worth the dollar per hour that games provide. We had this big whole conversation with Nick Yeti about dollar per hour of games that you're paying for. Is it worth it? Is DLC even something that the industry should be doing anymore? And all this other stuff. I don't want to argue the price of the game, of Sunbreak, I should say, but I feel like it gives you a lot. It's a full helping. We talked about, actually, in the Streets of Rage 4, Mr. Nightmare DLC, and how that dramatically changed the game.
Yeah, it was like a whole new game. It was a different game.
Exactly, and that we talked about dollar per hour was so worth it.
For $7, Mr. Nightmare is like the cheapest, most you've. It's like finding a box set of every Star Wars movie to ever come out for like $2 at Walmart or something. It's an insane value.
In this post-COVID priced world, it's a $30 value.
Yeah. My answer is not yes. It is hell yes. Sunbreak, so good. And I know, I'm Mr. Monster Hunter Rise, Mr. Worldwide. I am in love with Monster Hunter Rise. I played Rise for almost the entire time it's been out, after I'd beaten every quest to death, after I'd learned all the new weapons, after I'd done, pretty much a set for every weapon. I stopped playing like a couple months last summer because some other stuff came out. But Rise was my most anticipated game release of this year, and it has lived up to all my expectations. Monster Hunter Rise, because the way it works on Switch, Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak share, they're one game according to the Switch, because it's base Rise and then Sunbreak is just DLC. On top of that, Monster Hunter Rise will easily be my most played game on the Switch before I'm done with Sunbreak. Previously, that title had belonged to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it was, I think, Ultimate and then Splatoon 2, but it wasn't even close. Ultimate had double the time played as Splatoon 2, and Sunbreak and Rise combined will absolutely have more playtime than Smash. And now that I've played Sunbreak, I'm in the end game, I'm going through the end game, I can say with confidence that Sunbreak and Rise is my favorite game on the Switch. It's got some stiff competition, for sure, but I would say it's my favorite game on the Switch. It's not
okay.
It's not really a contest. There's some other good games. I would say Streets of Rage 4 is very high up there. Yeah, the data, there were a lot of things that came out before they were supposed to come out that ruined. I avoided pretty much all spoilers going into Sunbreak. There were a couple that I got, but that people would be like, "Oh, this monster's in," and I'm like, "Ha! You didn't spoil anything for me because I don't know who the hell that is." Because a lot of ignorance. Because I only played World and I didn't even make it to Iceborne, and I have never played a Monster Hunter before that. So most of the monsters I'm familiar with are from Rise. So I had no idea, and I didn't even have the end boss, the final boss, spoiled for me because I took my time. It took me a little over a week to reach the final boss. And everything I heard, all the discussions, all the videos, all the Twitter stuff about the final boss was spoiler-free. And we're going to keep it that way in this review, because Corporal has not laid eyes on the final boss yet. And we don't know if you're listening or watching to evaluate whether you should get the game. And if you are, get it. It's worth it. It's worth it so much. Marty's even... There's a lot of... And most of the people that I play with are much further than me. I just hit Master Rank 50, and pretty much everybody that I play in lobbies with, I would say 80 to 90% of the people I play in lobbies with, either randoms or people joining in the lobbies on stream, are significantly higher rank than me. And I think I play a lot, but I guess not.
Clearly not enough.
I know. But I'm happy with the pace that I'm playing at, because I feel like I'm playing a lot, and I'm only Master Rank 50, and the last boss is at Master Rank 100. And it's going to take me a long time to get there at the pace that I'm playing, and I'm going to enjoy every sip. I'm playing Sunbreak like I drink my coffee, very slowly, just enjoying every little morsel. So, let's talk the details. We've gotten all our feelings out there. You know what we think of the game. So we actually got to follow
this script now that we have it.
Now we're going to go. Well, we just talked about basically a lot of the other sections. So let's start off with the world building, Corporal.
Okay.
Something for you to sink your teeth into, because the world, how lived in the world feels. and the story, that is your bag in a world of, if we're comparing graphics, gameplay, and mechanics, which we will eventually.
Yeah, it's something we've promoted and we've promised, and it's an evergreen.
It's next on the episode schedule, but I almost promised some piece of news is going to come out and blow it up again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the new world, Elgato Outpost, overlooking the crater, sitting a little bit ways from the Citadel and the jungle, the two new levels. What do we think? What do you think of the new hub world? Because I think we have differing opinions, because we've talked about this.
We do have different opinions.
Probably more than we should have before this, but...
So, I'll be honest with you. The main... correct me again, what's the name of the...
Elgato. Gamora.
Gamora.
For Gamora! Who's Gamora?
Who's Gamora?
Is that one of those creepy twins?
So, Gamora is so heavily themed and is so I'm gonna say cliche to a point, and it fits in this beautiful little box, and everything around you and all of the worlds that you go, or all of the maps that you go to almost kind of makes sense about being connected to Gamora in some way, shape, or form.
Tom's killing me. He said, "Why is Gamora?" I can't believe nobody's made that joke. I can't believe that's great.
It's perfect. I felt like Elgato was disjointed in the world that we're in. It felt out of place. It felt very medieval. It felt in a separate timeline. And because of that, it kind of takes me out of the enjoyment of it. It doesn't feel like it is a part of the same world. It feels like it's another world.
It's supposed to be. It's across the ocean.
Okay.
Now, see, I think... So here's some context, because I think I played a little bit more of World than you. World fits in very much with Elgato. They are very much in the same sort of medieval, more Western theme. So I think...
Elgato feels like it is an extension of World's main hub.
Martin said, "You will get why later, Corporal."
And Inferno over on Twitch is like from Japan to England.
Yeah,
like, yes,
yeah.
It is so starkly different.
I think if you played World and Iceborne, and then you played Rise and Sunbreak, I think Gamora is the place that seems out of place.
Okay. Sure.
So, I wasn't a huge fan of Gamora at first, and then I've played the game so much, it just kind of grew on me. It's just where it is. It really is like hyper Japanese influenced, especially because especially in the Gathering Hub, the main room where you do the group quest, they have the big cherry blossom tree and the cats playing the drums, and it's like very, very Japanese.
Yes.
And that's fine. And that grew on me, but then we went to Elgato, and I was like, yes. Now I'm back. I feel like I'm back from my trip overseas to the main world of Monster Hunter.
Because it felt so much like World.
Because it felt... And I didn't even play that much World. I played World between the Sunbreak demo and the Sunbreak release, so a couple of months. I got a lot of the way through World, but not all the way. But to me, like, if you look at Monster Hunter from a larger perspective, like the entire Monster Hunter series, I think you can pick out different hubs and different themes from different games, and I think World and Elgato fit more in with, like, the general vibe, and Gamora is, like, this sort of, like, standout. It's sort of like Pokemon, right? Pokemon...
So, from that perspective, and from that viewpoint, I very much feel like they should have been reversed. Because in that viewpoint, Kimura then feels more like a DLC, more so than Elgato does.
It does. And the funny thing about that is, content-wise, it was lighter on content. So it really, like, that like comparison holds true, I feel like, to the amount of content. The DLC, though, for Monster Hunter games is always harder and always adds extra challenge, and obviously that doesn't carry over.
Well, yeah, but had they switched the themes in release order, then I think it would have made more consecutive sense for me. It's a very minor like gripe that I have, but it's a thing that stood out to me as playing.
Yeah, see, I love Elgato, and I love... So, and this was a point of criticism. Rurikon and Gaijin Hunter, in their review episode on the Third Fleet podcast, which is an awesome show, by the way, they had a problem that Elgato doesn't have a multiplayer gathering hub. So, in World, you have all the different places in, like, the main world, and then you have a separate place, but that's the multiplayer gathering hub. Kimura, you have Kimura Village, you have the training area, and then you have the multiplayer gathering hub where you queue up for multiplayer things. Elgato doesn't have that. Inferno's one step ahead of me. Elgato, like, is a gathering hub because it's like there's not really different sections to travel into. It's like, because Kimura is technically bigger because it's got the training area, it's got the pet area, like, it's got more, you know, if you take a square footage of all the places you can run around, Kimura is bigger. But Elgato feels more centralized and open, and especially when you have a multiplayer lobby with 4 people, and everybody's running around, because you can kind of see where everybody is. To me, that makes it feel, I don't know, it just feels more open, more in tune, in theme with having a multiplayer lobby open. Like, it just feels like a multiplayer game.
Kimura had 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you include the house. 4 different areas that you could go to, which had a load screen before it branched into that next section. So, from that perspective, Elgato doesn't. So it does feel more open, more connected. So that I understand.
And I love it. I've not even spent half as, nearly as much time in Elgato as I had in Kimura, but I vastly prefer Elgato. And so that's the world. Story and character, as you go through the story, I can say the story for Sunbreak is so much better than Rise.
That I'll agree to.
The story for Rise was fine.
I am more invested in what I have learned so far from the story than what I got from Kimura. And I still don't fully know if I grasp and understand the true story of Kimura. That may be because of the way I approached the game when it first came out. That also may just be because it wasn't that great or that captivating. But coming from a guy who we all know, my perspective on games, story should come first. Like, I feel like Elgato did better.
So I feel like Kimura, the entire story of base Rise was, I don't want to say shoehorned in, but was built around rampages. Because they added rampages as a new mechanic, they really hyped it up as sort of this fun, sort of a little bit chaotic tower defense thing. And then the story was about, like, well, we have to protect the village from the rampage, and we have to find out what the rampage, what's causing the rampage, and then that's not the real reason, there's something else causing the rampage, and it feels like everything was built to showcase this new mode. Versus Sunbreak, there is no new mode, although I would contest that the follower quests are way more interesting and engaging than rampages, but we'll get there. The Sunbreak story is a story, and it doesn't have a weird center mechanic that it's like trying to shoehorn in. But there's things I want to say about the story and how they tie into the gameplay, but I can't because it's like endgame stuff, and I don't want to talk too much about that. I'll talk a little bit about endgame when we get there, but the story's good. It has a couple little twists and turns. You do some quests to take care of a smaller problem that comes up, which I thought was really interesting. That was like, I think, kind of atypical for Monster Hunter, and I really liked it. But the story is good. The characters, I love the Kimura twins, but I immediately liked the characters and their interactions with each other. I feel like all the why don't talk about Curio? Have you gotten to the part of the story where they started calling the little red things Curio?
No.
Okay. I still blame COVID for why base Rise wasn't as good since we got 40% of a game. Yeah, I mean with the updates, but I mean that's a fair assessment. But the characters...
I don't know what the one girl's real name is, but I call her Cha-Cha. And that's the one girl who I...
Oh, Cheech?
Sure, Cha-Cha.
Come to Cheech for all your questing deeds. She's probably one of my least favorite, but in Kimura, I feel like Is follower quest on the list of topics? Yes. Yes, it is. That is coming in... What section is that in? It's somewhere. Oh, yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. But I feel like in Kimura, all the characters were all interacting and all have kind of this same vibe where they're like, Kimura, do it for the village. Let's work together. And in Elgato, you have Bahari, that's like kind of this aloof scientist, and he's rude, but he's also lovable, and he's flirting with Fiorrain, painfully flirting with Fiorrain the entire time, and Fiorrain's kind of feeling it, maybe not. And then you have Lady Luchinka, who is an absolute sociopath that I love, because she's just this sweet, like, prim and proper, and then you play with her, and she just has a giant machine gun. She's like, murder is fine. I love her. Yeah, fight for the kingdom. So, what do you think of the characters? Did you find yourself? I mean, you still have some of the characters to meet as you go through.
I still have some of the character meets. I like, for lack of a better term, the king in Elgato much more than I liked the main guy in Kimura.
Yes, the Admiral Gallius. Mm-hmm. He's a man of few words. He's very like stoic. He's kind of got like a fancy haircut with the little lines shaved to show you that he's cool.
Also, like, we talk about Kimura versus Elgato. I'm sure I'll get crap for this. I feel like there should have been different food in Elgato.
Me too. They added, and I have this written down in the mechanics. It's they added the bunny hopping skewers, which I think made the Dango a lot more interesting. There's more strategy, but I would have loved real food. I've been eating Dango for a year. I want food. I want the food from World. Every time I would have to skip the cutscene for the food in World, because if I didn't, I would have to go get something to eat.
You were hungry.
Because it was delicious. Yes. I remember showing that to my son, and he was like, oh, that food looks delicious. Why is it only being made by cats? And that was a whole different conversation with him. Why can't our cats cook? Granny cat from Iceborne. Yeah, I would have liked different food. That is the one downfall. And it says tea shop. It's like tea shop, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be able to order tea. Nope.
Crimpin' biscuits.
Still Dongo. Nope. Still Dongo. So yeah, well, this is a little bit out of order of our notes, but since we're talking about characters, the follower quests. The follower quests are nice story-wise. I feel like, from a story perspective, the follower quests are cool because you get story and character building through gameplay.
Yes.
Which is what I like. It reminded me a pinch of Hades, actually. Because Hades, you get to know the gods and goddesses through the short dialogue snippets and through the boons that they give you. So you see that, like, Ares is all about vengeance, and every time you get hit, it does damage to the enemy. Or Aphrodite, that has the ability, gives you things to charm the enemies. Or Dionysus confuses the enemies because he's the god of wine. My favorite character, by the way. And I feel like on the follower quests, you get personality, and I haven't experienced this, but I've read this, that the followers, some are more likely to, like, protect you. Some are more likely to just go nuts and go with the monster. Some function a little more tactically and are more likely to, like, set up traps and go get monsters to come in. So you get, and then there's the little back and forth, and if you take multiple people, they chat back and forth. And I just feel like it was a really interesting way to bring a little more depth to the characters.
I personally thought the follower thing was absolutely amazing. The ability to go on hunts with some of the NPCs, the way they interact with you and the world around them was extremely unique. I would almost like to see that mechanic be available in reverse over in Komora, where they now have the ability to do follower quests over there that can unlock those characters on that side and gain access to everybody over there. I want to go on a hunt with the blacksmith. I don't care. That's what I want.
Which blacksmith?
The original blacksmith.
Oh, the grumpy old man.
Not that dweeby guy who's inside the hut next to. No, I want the old guy.
What can I make for you today?
Yeah, not him.
You want some mayonnaise on white bread? That sounds tasty.
Yeah, no, I want the grandpa.
Although, Master Arlo, the arena guy, you unlock him later as a follower for follower quests. His personality is very similar to the original blacksmith.
Okay.
He's, like, older and gruff, and is just like, let's go kill stuff.
So, I mean, that's... I think the dialogue back and forth between the followers and each other, other followers, and between what you do in the fight is phenomenally well done. I think that is an absolutely great idea, and I'd like to see more things implemented. You're right about the followers having dialogue, which help to expand the story. So, and you said this, and this kind of brought up some thoughts. Back when I played Halo, all of your story came from game points and cutscenes. And then Halo 5 came out, and they introduced other characters that you got to go on, missions with. And a lot of those characters talked to each other. And I was too busy trying to fight and kill and maneuver that I was losing many aspects of the story, that I had to almost replay certain missions several times in order to get the things that I was missing. And, like, in my first run through, I'm like, this is so stupid, just shut up and play. Like, I was getting annoyed with it, but I thought it was interesting. It was a unique concept, but it may not have fit for a Halo. I've seen it done in other games, but I thought that this was really well done.
Yeah, as soon as I played my first follower quest, I was like, this is going to be Corporal's, like, one of your favorite features.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before, but I think follower quests are more interesting than rampages. I think the majority of the player base would rather play follower quests than rampages, and rampages definitely are mechanically and technically more complex. But I think overall follower quests sort of replaced rampages, because they're not an all the time thing. They're only a sometimes thing. They're sort of like, they break up the gameplay flow a little bit, but in a good way. Like when I do a follower quest, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do a follower quest. I think I'm gonna do a follower quest. Yeah. And with rampages, I was like, no, I have to do a rampage. I have to do it. Multiple people in both Facebook and the Twitch chats are like, follower quest, rampage, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Speaking of quests, there's so many. There's so many quests. I'm going to enjoy doing every single one of them. And there's just a lot. It's beefy. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 monster hunts. Some of these quests are going to be challenging to finish within the 50-minute time constraint. And that is not something that ever happened in Rise. I could do a 3 monster hunt very comfortably in 50 minutes. Can I do a 4 monster hunt? Not only are these monsters master rank monsters, which are harder, take longer to kill, you get to make less mistakes or else they cart you, but 4 of them in 50 minutes, that's like 13 minutes a piece. That's a steady pace. I'm gonna have to work up to it. I think if I try to do some of the 4 monster hunts right now, I don't know that I would be able to do that because I don't think I'm fast enough. Maybe with a group. I think a group is going to be the key to taking down those four things, 4 monster hunts, because those, like, well, I was in Tom's lobby earlier, and even on our stream, we'll clear master rank hunts in like 7 minutes, and it takes me double that long, sometimes triple that long, to do it on my own. So, by the way, Corporal, you've reminded me, if you are playing Monster Hunter on PC, or you are looking to get Sunbreak on PC, you can purchase it through our Nexus shop, which is a little store front where we get a cut of the profits, a cut of the sales. And actually, if you do the on Facebook, if you do ! Store or shop, I think it is, you can do it. I think it's shop. There we go. Yeah, I will share it in the Twitch chat in just a second. This is not cooperating. Corporal, can you copy and paste it? 'Cause it's not working for me. It's being mean. Okay.
I got it.
I don't remember. It comes up on a timer in our Facebook chat. But yeah, if you do, and actually we're gonna add more games to it eventually. But right now, basically any Capcom game, if you purchase it through our storefront, we get 20% of sales go directly to us, which is an amazing way to support the podcast if you like watching us. So yeah, if you haven't gotten Sunbreak, or you have it on Switch and you're looking to get it on PC, check out our shop. I don't think we can offer any discounts. I don't think that's a thing that's built into the platform. But if you get it through us, we get a cut. So please and thank you. Just PC games? It's just PC games for now. Yeah. I went to Nexus, had a little like Capcom creator webinar thing recently, and they are working on console games. So hopefully in the future we can offer a lot more. Yo, Marty, thank you. You can watch the rest of this. This will be available on YouTube, Spotify, all the things pretty soon. Danny Boy, welcome in. So yeah, I think that about gets us through the story, the world, the characters, and now the monsters. The real stars of the show, the monsters. And I think a good place to start discussing and reviewing the monsters is the Master Rank monsters. Master Rank gives a fresh coat of paint and then some on every monster in Rise. Because when you fight, Tetranodon or Great Izuchi or Tigrex in Master Rank, I think they're more aggressive. They have new moves, like moves that you've never seen before, and then they have variations of their old moves that will kill you. And, like, for example, Magnamalo has the thing where he winds up his little cattail and he shoots the laser. And if you get shot with that laser, most of the time you're dead.
Boom.
Most of the time, especially when you first fight him, that's a one-shot. But in Master Rank, he winds up and you're thinking, oh, I've done this a million times. You dodge it, and then he does it, and then he shoots a second one. And pretty much every monster has little subtle variations that are made to make you feel uncomfortable, that are made to make you feel like you don't know this monster, that this is, you may have fought other monsters like it, but this one's new and it's gonna kick your teeth in. And pretty much every time I've carded to a monster fighting it the first time, it's been one of those moments where I thought I knew what it was going to do, and it did something else and caught me off guard. And I like that. It keeps me on my toes.
It was a nice way of making an old thing feel new. Like Blood Orange Bishton being rethemed, and I can go on a rant about how Bishton should be rethemed seasonally. But I feel like the ability to have, Bishton do an attack that you think you know what he's going to do, but he goes left instead of right, he goes up instead of down. Like, there's a lot that you can do with that, and it makes it feel fresh and just not, rinsed and repeated. I would have liked to see a little bit more variety, maybe some different monsters.
Some more variants?
Yeah, more variants.
Well, there's more coming.
Okay.
I also felt that way. I thought there was going to be more variants, because there's only Blood Orange Bishaten, Magma Almadron, and then Pyrrhikidaki. So 3 remixes of those. But in the first update in August, we're getting Lucent Nargacuga, and I think we're going to be getting at least one variant per update that they have scheduled. So that's one in August, one in the fall, one in winter, and then through 2023. So I hope so, because I love the variants. They're totally new. They make new armor, they make new weapons, like, they're new monsters.
Yeah. So I liked it. I like, for that reason, I wasn't as impressed. I wasn't like, oh, so awesome. But I personally, I could care less about what the monster is, or who, or what variant. Like, I would like to see some more variants.
Oh, yes. Aurora Somnicanth is another one. And then there's one more, I don't want to say it because there's another variation of another monster that neither of us have fought yet. Okay. Because it's down there.
I could care less about the variant monsters as much as I care more about the new monsters. The crab thing that, like, is one of the first fights you do, I thought was really cool. It was a really neat take on, like, a type of monster, and I liked that. But even more than that, I could care less about monsters altogether. I like the new maps.
Yes.
The maps, I think, is better than the monsters.
So, I have a thought on the maps, but a note on the monsters. So, in the beginning, you fight the crab, obviously new. You fight Blood Orange Bishaten kind of early on. But, I think I would have liked to see more new monsters sprinkled in earlier on. Because you have Garen Golem, Lunagaron, Malzeno, Gormagala, Shigaru Magala, Seregios, Astalos. You have all these monsters. You've probably not fought any of those yet. You're rounding out Master Rank 2, and you've only fought the Crab and then Blood Orange Bishatin. But all these other monsters are all in like...
I mean, I've fought other things, but they've been just repeats.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is new monsters, they're all basically at like 4 and 5, and I think you probably could have sprinkled them... Because I remember I unlocked, I think it was Master Rank 4, and then all of a sudden it was like, brrr, like 3-4 monsters that I've never seen before. And I was like, that's cool, that's a good feeling. I feel like I've earned the right to fight these new monsters. And I guess that kind of has to do with difficulty, because it's easier to fight monsters that you're pretty familiar with versus brand new monsters. But I would have liked to see more new monsters early on. And they have the Shogun Senator, which is kind of early, but is very similar to the Crab. But I would have liked to see like maybe like a tamer version. I mean, all of those monsters are pretty gnarly to fight for the first time, so I understand why they kept them till later on. But yeah, the new monsters should have been urgent quests. I agree with that. Yeah, I think you could have fought a Seregios or an Astalos earlier on. But yeah, I'll save my thoughts for those in a second. But the maps, continue on with your thoughts about the maps.
It's just that the maps. Like after a while, I had some maps that were my favorites from Komura, and like some maps I just felt like they were redone, and reused for monsters. Just like it just became mundane. So I'm excited about having new maps, but some of these maps I feel like are better laid out. They're the way that they're designed feel much more vast. I like the art style. I feel like it was a good take.
I really like the Citadel, because it's like it feels like a couple maps combined into one big map, which is cool.
Okay, yep.
I need to unlock the other points to jump to so that I don't have to walk, because I never have a Palamute with me, so I'm always like Spider-Manning away around. I love the aesthetic of the jungle, but I've found myself more than a couple times like running around in circles trying to find my way to the bottom layer of the jungle, and it drives me nuts every time a monster goes down there. Unless I'm like right in front of the entrance, I'm like, how do I'm above him, can I just dig down?
What's that one map that's in Komura that's like the desert one?
Yes, the desert one, Sandy Plains,
hate that map.
and Flooded Forest also they both have sections. I feel like Jungle is even harder though, because it's like only a couple entrances, but it's a beautiful map. I love that they have the beaches and the like little mountains and like jungle.
The crab,
it's cool.
Fighting the crab on the beachfront, like.
Yeah, it's good. I like the new maps a lot. Moving back to the other monsters, so we have the three lords, Garen Golem, Lunagaron, and Malzeno. Malzeno is a challenging fight. It's a challenging fight. That's the flagship. It's rightfully so the flagship. It's a hard fight. Lunagaron is, I think, a fun fight. He's interesting. He has times where he's slow. He has times where he moves fast. It's like very dynamic back and forth. Garen Golem might be my favorite, because Garen Golem, you haven't fought Garen Golem yet, right?
No.
Okay, so he is this giant stone ape. He kind of reminds me of the guy from Legends of the Hidden Temple, Omak. He's like this big stone face. He's giant. You think, okay, this is going to be like, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to move, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to move. This man moves. He is so nimble. The amount of times I got carted and caught off guard by him is like I think more than... Because Malzeno, you know, he kind of moves in a certain way, and he looks like he should be fast, and he's got the tail attack, and, like, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. But I think Garen Gull, more than the other two, like, surprises you, because he's this big rock creature, and all of a sudden, he's, like, pounding the ground, and he puts his fist down, and he explodes, and he shoots up into the air, and you're like, what? And then he's on top of you, and you're dead, and you're back in camp, going, Tom, that's a big son of a... Yeah. Yeah, he's a fun fight, though. He's fun, and I like him. I feel like he's got personality, and he moves way faster than I thought. The other monsters, I love Gore Magala. I love the armor sets for Gore Magala. Shigaru Magala is really mean to me, and was a very tough hunt for me my first time. Astalos, I feel like, was less challenging because I fought him a bunch in the demo. Seregios, I love Seregios. I am learning to love that fight. Bleed is a hell of a debuff. I don't want to say, like, I feel like I'm spoiling things for Corporal, but
go ahead.
You will fight. So Seregios is like if Tigrex could fly, and could also cause you to bleed out, and was just faster and bigger. Seregios is way bigger than he has a right to be for how aggressive he is and how much he moves around. Who is your favorite fight so far?
The crab.
In Sunbreak. The crab?
Yeah.
More than Blood Orange Bishatin.
Blood Orange Bishatin was good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like.
Yeah, I like that fight. Yeah.
You can't put Bishatin on compared to anything else because I'm a Bishatin
He's your
lover.
spirit animal.
Yeah, but also they brought the monkey out of this Bishatin more so than they did in the original display of Bishatin. But
you think so?
Yes. But
he monkeys around a little more?
Yeah, he definitely monkeys around a lot more. But I thought the crab was really cool.
Yeah, I like the crab. The crab, I feel like the crab is it acts, this is going to sound stupid, but it acts like a crab. Like some of the moves, like it has the wind-up moves that you can see coming, but every once in a while it'll just be like, boom, it'll just like punch you in the face with its claw, and you're like, what the fucking crab? Why did you, like, you can't predict it. It just is like these little things. Corporal was never going to say, Bishatin, you can't hunt or kill your love. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked the crab fight a lot. I finally played well, it wasn't the crab, it was the Shogun. Have you fought the second crab yet? The Shogun Senator? It's another crabby character, and his claws are more like scythes than pinchers. It's a similar fight, but it's different. But they both do like the dig underground thing and like pop up. So he's similar. You'll enjoy that. If you enjoyed the crab fight, you're going to enjoy that fight too. So the last thing about monsters that we have to talk about, because it's a full review. Corporal, I'm sorry if this is a minor spoiler for you. If you don't know anything about the end game, this will be a little bit of a spoiler, a teensy wee. I'm going to be as general as I possibly can be. But after you complete the story, you enter the end game, and you fight what are called afflicted monsters. And I'm not going to say anything else about why or how or whatever, but you fight basically powered up versions of a bunch of different monsters. And they are way faster and way more aggressive, and they hit harder, and it's such a good, to me, it's such a good endgame mechanic. There are some mechanics, like there's some new mechanics, like they have certain spots on their bodies that are glowing, that are sort of randomly determined, and if you hit those spots, it does bonus damage. and it prevents them from doing a big attack. If you ignore the weak spots, you will die. Because if the weak spots aren't addressed, they build up and they do a huge attack. And you can avoid it, but sometimes you can't avoid it. And it does a shitload of damage. And Afflicted, it's kind of like fighting a regular version of a monster and then an Apex version. Except, like almost every monster, there's an Afflicted version of the monster. And I'm only about halfway through the Afflicted monster list. And I am terrified to fight some of the later monsters as Afflicted versions, because they're tough. They hit so hard, like monsters that you're like, Tetranodon, no problem. Afflicted Tetranodon,
definitely
dead.
A spoiler for me because I wasn't aware that was coming. I am almost disheartened to hear that that's the direction of things. There better be a very good story reason as to why. Because otherwise, this just feels like, oh, we have 10 new monsters to hunt. But really, there's just 5, and some of them are red.
No, that's the thing, is from a story perspective, it actually makes sense. It's tied into the story.
It has to be.
It is. I'm telling you it is.
I'm going to be naughty about it.
I'm telling you, it is the Afflicted. The end game is tied into the story. It's not shoehorned. It's not like event quests that are like, here, powered up versions. They're stronger. We don't know why. They just are. Play them. These are tied into the story. And it's a cool end game. And this is kind of like we're talking about end game and mechanics and monsters. But you fight different Afflicted monsters, and they give you different special materials that you can only get from Afflicted monsters. And you need those Afflicted monster parts to craft the endgame gear. So to make the last weapon in every single tree of every single weapon, you need to do Afflicted monster quests. And you don't need to do them once. You don't need to do them twice. You need to do a bunch of them because these materials are rare. You often need more than one kind of them. So there's reasons to fight the endgame monsters. They're fun to fight. They're interesting. They're much different than fighting the base monsters. And it's tied to the story. So I'm curious to see with the free content updates how that will play into the end game, because they're going to do some updates that are made for people who haven't hit the end game yet, and I hope that they're going to also theme some of these content updates for people who have done the end game and provide new challenges. And I think they are, because in the little notes of each update, it's like monster variants, powered up monsters, and I'm assuming, I'm reading between the lines, that powered up monsters is going to mean new Afflicted monsters or new variations on Afflicted monsters or something. The other thing with endgame and Afflicted monsters is it levels the playing field for multiplayer. And we've talked about this a little bit, Corporal, but when you're, like, if we hopped into a lobby, if I go fight Master Rank 1 or 2 with my endgame weapon and gear, I'm going to crush those monsters. I'm going to take one-shot kills to the face, and it's going to take maybe a third of my health. But when you get to endgame, and there's a lot of endgame to get through, it sort of levels the playing field, because you have basically 90... I guess you start at 10, so 90 levels of Master Rank where you're really not getting any big upgrades to your armor. You're just crafting the weapons that you want, and it's going to scale based on your ability to fight these monsters and strategically put together armor sets more than straight upgrading. Because once you hit Master Rank 10, you can upgrade any gear you want except your weapon basically all the way. So you're as strong as you're going to be, except for weapon that will come with a little extra damage. So the entire end game, basically, you can play with somebody that's, master rank 90, and they're really not going to have a huge advantage over somebody who's master rank 20, which I think is cool, because that's a whole big portion of the game that is gonna be people playing together and it not really mattering where in that stage that you are, other than the monster you're fighting and how many times they're gonna kill you. Corporal's like, whatever, it better be tied to the fucking story. Collect Speary Birds. Difficulty. Sort of naturally transitioning in. What do you think of the difficulty so far, Corporal? How are you feeling about it?
I mean, you and I have had this conversation so many times, it's almost pointless. I like Nick Yeti, and we've talked about this, and
this is what we're gonna... Okay. Okay.
Most people who are not diehard Monster Hunter fans feel the same way that I do, and that the hunts can take too long. Now, in Kimura, I was very comfortable with where I got leveled up to and how I was able to do my hunts. Things seemed to ride just at the right time frame. The pacing was perfect. The damage output was good. If I didn't read the monster right, or if I took too many hits, I was still going to get carded, but I was still able to succeed. Maybe I had too high of gear and things were a little too easy for me in Kimura, but
you did the hub quest and then you went back and mopped up the village quest. So,
I mean, yes,
yeah, you were definitely
true.
over leveled for that.
That's true. And while I still am able to hold my own in Elgato, there have been a couple monsters who I've came across where, like, they turn and all of a sudden I get hit and I am done. Like, it was like it literally felt like demo Magnamalo all over again. And like, that was butt hurting, and it felt like I had to super grind and die and die and die and die and die and retry and retry and retry and retry over and over and over again, to the point that, like, what is the point? I'll just hop onto a public lobby and get other people to help me because this is stupid. And I've also felt like if I'm not geared properly, then the hunt can take 30-40 minutes versus the 15 minutes that I think is the right pacing. And I am, to Nick Yeti's point in the Discord chat, do not want to fall asleep while I'm trying to slowly grind away at a monster who just keeps running away from me because I'm not doing enough damage. I felt like that. I can see you smirking and twisting in your chair because you're just ready to pounce. And it doesn't matter what you're going to say. That's just how I feel about it.
Oh yeah, tell me about legendary mode on Halo. And how different that is.
I knew this was
Master
coming.
rank! It's not amateur rank, it's not intermediate rank, it's not semi-pro rank, it's master rank. Master Chief, Master
The
rank.
problem with that is that you feel when you make progress in legendary mode on Halo. There is a number of bad guys that you can count, and you can slowly figure out, okay, if I do this, I can't do that, I die. Okay,
Thank you, Tom.
It sounds like you aren't preparing for the hunts before you head out.
So how many in these slamming your face against the wall moments, how many new pieces of armor did you craft before going into these hunts?
I haven't yet.
Well,
sure. That could be my fault.
Did you if there's a monster you're stuck at, did you consider the elemental resistances? If it's a lightning creature, did you craft lightning resistance gear?
No.
Did you change the dongo that you're eating to give you higher defense stats or resistance to a specific element?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. That's one. But the whole... So, I think... And I am poking fun, because that's what we do here. But the loop of Monster Hunter is prepare for your hunt, right? Prepare, eat your stuff, eat your vegetables, getting the Jessica Porter, welcome in. You prepare for your hunt. You go out on your hunt. You do the hunt. You come back. You craft and upgrade your gear. You prepare for another hunt, and then you do another hunt. You cannot skip any of these steps. You are trying to skip the upgrade and prepare step, and it is punching you in the dongos. And that in different ranks, you can get away with that, but in master rank, you have to upgrade your gear. There's no way around it. You either have to be godlike in your play, or you have to upgrade your gear.
I feel maybe what the problem is that I'm having is that the same problem that I had with Endgame Destiny is that it's too much grinding.
But you're only master rank 2. You're not even to the grinding part yet.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm like...
And so for the hunts feeling too long is the same. So the problem is you get carded and you get huge chunks of health taken. The solution is you have to craft and upgrade your armor.
There are some monsters where I can learn its moveset and I can dodge and I can weave and I can hit, but I'm not doing enough damage so that the hunt takes what I feel like is forever.
So that problem is because you're not upgrading your weapons. So you're dying too much, you got to upgrade your armor. If the hunts you think are taking too long or the monsters are running way too easily, you got to upgrade your weapons. You have to upgrade. If you don't upgrade your weapons, I started with my end game Gunlance set from Rise, and I thought I'm not going to have to touch this setup for a while because this does so much damage. It's it's great. By the end of Master Rank 1, my hunts were taking in excess of 30 minutes. And I was like, these Master Rank guys are like spongy. Like, I was in the same camp. I was like, this takes so long. And then I looked at the Gunlance tree, and I was like, holy God. The first upgrade to my Gunlance compared to the Gunlance I was using was like huge upgrade. The jump from high rank to master rank is a big gap, and if you try and not fill in that gap by upgrading your gear and weapon, it's gonna take a long time. How many decorations have you crafted? Is your armor and your stuff filled with the jewels and the decorations?
No. I can't see your face in real time, so I don't...
So what you're doing, and this is no offense to you, but you are playing Halo on Legendary with the pistol, and you're refusing to pick up any other weapons.
The pistol is one of the best weapons in the game.
You are choosing whatever... Dad decorations. Dad decorations. Dadorations? If you're not paying attention to your armor skills, you're not upgrading your gear, you're not upgrading your weapons, and you're not crafting decorations, you are trying to play... You're playing the game with, like, almost both hands tied behind your back. I don't know why I'd never asked you about decorations before.
Nobody has asked me about decorations before, and I have been playing this entire time without decorations, and to my credit, they're called decorations, so I didn't
had no
feel like
idea
they were worth
that you had no decorate. No, they like you're basically playing with like 50% of your stats missing. Because if you're playing without any like attack up jewels or anything, then we have to talk. We have to talk after this. We have to talk after this. Anyway, so your sense of difficulty might be a bit skewed because your gear is woefully underprepared. Because you need...
That may be where a lot of my frustration is. That may be why
Yes.
I'm like, this game is okay.
You and I are going to play. I know we talked about splitting up the co-streams, but we're going to play, and we're going to get you like a baseline setup, and you are going to be flabbergasted at the difference. You're going to be blown away by the difference. So my take on difficulty is there's harder challenges, but you have better tools to deal with it. You have skill swap, you have new silk binds, you have redirection, you have all these new fancy tools. Monsters are faster, they're more aggressive, but you have more tools to deal with that. And I think that is relatively in balance. As far as Master Rank progression, I think Master Ranks 1, 2, and 3 are pretty fair, pretty easy. Maybe a little too easy, but then Master Rank 4 and 5, you get reminded why it's called Master Rank, because there is a pretty... So when you're in base Rise, you have low rank, and then you move up to high rank. In my opinion, Master Rank 1 through 3 is like low rank Master Rank. 4 or 5 is high rank Master Rank, because I think there's a noticeable difference. I think it's easier to go from Master Rank 5 to Afflicted endgame hunts than it is to go from Master Rank, like, the beginning of 4 to the end of 4. That's where I think the difficulty spike is in the game. And it might just be I was more familiar and I had a better build at Master Rank 5 that was more appropriate for what I was fighting. But I felt the difficulty increase around Master Rank 4. Exactly same as real life. Decorations save lives. Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. I also think, as compared to Rise, that hunts feel more fair and reflect how... And this is exactly what we were talking about. I feel like the difficulty of hunts reflects how prepared you are for that hunt, both in your gear and your weapons and your skills. Because I had good builds. I've had really good builds. My endgame build was ready. For a couple different weapons. But, like, I've been trying to learn Lance. And I made an endgame build for Lance. And I had all the gear, I had all the decorations, I had all the stuff. And my hunts were taking, like, 40 minutes because I didn't know how to play Lance. So, your skills are not going to carry you, and your gear is not going to carry you. For the further you get, the more you have to have the appropriate skills and the appropriate gear. And I think that makes it very fair. George! King George! Yes!
George!
Corporal does have a new mic. That's why we pushed the episode back. This is the Monster Hunter Rise ASMR.
After hours.
Sunbreak. Breaking hearts of monsters and people. So I feel like the difficulty is fair. I feel like it could be a little harder. I do. And maybe that's skewed because I'm like a super fan and I consider that I'm pretty good at the game. I'm not setting any speed records or anything. But I maybe feel like I get a little bit harder. I'll get back to you when I'm at Master Rank 100 and I fought that monster and maybe I'll have a different opinion. But I feel like it could be a bit harder for me. I would like it if it was a little bit harder. A pinch of spice, because I haven't had. I've failed quests. I've failed quests in Master Rank, but every time and maybe it's just getting back to the fair thing. Every time I've failed a quest, I knew exactly why I failed the quest. I failed a quest. My armor is not up to par with this monster. I failed a quest. I'm trying out a new weapon and I don't know how to play it correctly, and the monster is teaching me the hard way. You can make it harder, but yes, Tom, exactly. I started playing Lance, I started failing quests. Now I'm better at Lance, I fail less quests. Back to what I was saying about it being a fair reflection of your skill as a hunter and your preparedness. But I would like stuff that challenges my endgame Gunlance set with a weapon that I'm very familiar with. I want something that's going to challenge me there. And maybe it's coming up, because I just hit Master Rank 50, and I've been warned about that monster, and I'm looking forward to fighting it. This is getting a little longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But mechanics and weapons, we've covered a lot of this already. But the new Silkbinds are amazing. The skill swap is, I think it's magical. It offers... Ooh, I like the new After Hours Nintendads.
Oh, thank you, King George. Please subscribe to our Only Dads account for even more behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Behind the scenes.
Oh, God.
Dads only.
You having that mic may have been a bad idea. You're going to get us banned. The skill swap offers a huge layer of customization. Corporal, I don't know how much you've played with the skill swap.
I haven't, not at all. I know that it's there and I know how to switch, and that's about it.
See, it's another tool that can make your hunts faster. I like the sound. I had the sound on loud. Yeah. My wife ran away and she was like, ew, what? That's funny. You brought this upon you. Are the Nintendads going to do an ASMR special? We've talked about it.
Yes.
We've actually talked about it. I don't know if I could get through a whole episode like that.
I could. I could bring...
Oh!
I could bring the mic down to my keyboard, or my keyboard up to my... and, like, just do the...
I've done it with the buttons.
Do the clicky clicks.
We should have that as a star reward on the wheel, like 2 minutes of ASMR.
Okay.
Right? Should be like, oh shit,
My ass just got carded so hard. Back to camp for me, I guess. I think I'll restock my potions while I'm here. Maybe sharpen my weapon a little bit. I don't know.
I feel so sorry for the people who are at home listening to this. And the
my
audio
wife
only.
likes it. My wife's in the chat and she loves this. Ooh, the monkey. Oof. Yes, Tira. No, I see people do that on TikTok and it's weird how they do the whisper stuff. It doesn't give you brain tingles, George? It
Brain
does.
tingles, yeah.
Brain tingles. It's a real thing. Anyway, the new, skill swap, new armor skills was something I was not expecting to like as much as I did, but there are some very interesting new armor skills that I am just beginning to... Oh boy, Jessica needs to drink on camera for nostalgia regions. Maybe the 3-year anniversary. It's coming up.
It's coming up.
The new armor skills. So I haven't messed around with this. I've only seen these builds, but you can effectively do things like vampire builds now, where you gain sizable amounts of health back every time you hit the monster. Corporal, I think you would enjoy that. Imagine never having to heal.
Yeah.
You heal through damage.
I mean, we talked about that with the hunting horn upgrade that I got, and while I can do that to a point, I'm no longer able to do that anymore with where I'm at.
But this is an armor skill, mainly Bloodright. There's some other ones that tie in, but mainly Bloodright. I think it works well with Kushala's Blessing, and there's another one that I can't remember. Dereliction, maybe? But there's an armor skill called Bloodright that every hit you do with any weapon heals you. It's not just... imagine that your hunting horn healing attacks were on every weapon. That's what this ability does. I really want to make a vampire hammer build at some point. But you gotta grind for that stuff. One last note on the new armor and mechanics. I also have to say this. Some of the new Silkbinds change the entire game. Like, my style and play of Gunlance is completely different now that I have Bullet Barrage. Because my whole strategy, my whole build, my whole kit, my whole everything now is centered around Bullet Barrage and using that to dish out obscene amounts of damage and to send Tom flying when I play with him in multiplayer lobbies. But the armor sets, I will say there are more armor sets that are single armor sets. So the Velociprey armor set is one monster's worth of set, and I feel like there's more instances of those pre-made sets that you can build and equip, and you're set. You don't really have to make mixed sets like Corporal when we were doing the light bowgun set for you, and we had to go after this piece and after this piece and after this piece. There's more sets that can carry you through the majority of the game that are just made from one monster or one or two monsters that are a pre-made set. You don't have to think about it. You do it. You slot your decorations for some customizability. But it's just like, I can put the heavy knight set on. I can put the bagel goose. I call him bagel goose now. I call him bagel goose. But there's two different sets for Gunlance that I can just craft them without thinking about it and put them on, and I have all the essential skills. And I'm a nerd, so I have to mix and match and make it good. Oh, just wait for my hammer uppercuts. Yes. We're going to do a PvP night, maybe. But yeah, so I have no complaints about the new armor. You unlock layered armor. All the designs for layered armor are fantastic. I love the designs of stuff in this game. And then the future of Sunbreak, the future is looking bright.
I mean, we've kind of touched on this with the free updates that are coming, like they did with Rise. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to them dropping some more monster variants and for them to bring in maybe some new followers.
Here's the thing. So I think the roadmap of what they have for new content updates is great. But are we gonna see some equivalent of the weekly event quests comes back? Because there's still a spot for event quests. The game's only been out 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't see why we wouldn't. The game has only been out for a little while. I think we will get weekly event quests once they...
I really hope so.
Yeah, I think that went really well. They know it went really well. I really think that's something that they'll follow through with.
Yeah, the free content updates to me are like, they had Rise, and then they had Rise, the 1.0 update, the 2.0 update that they added monsters, they added stuff, the 3.0, and there was a predetermined amount of those, and we have the map for those big updates, but I'm really hoping for event updates in between that are weekly. Weekly quests in this game would be the only thing that's not there that I would want as far as content. Again, I would like a little more difficulty. I think those more difficult things are going to get added in the content updates. So in a year we can come back and go, Sunbreak a year later, and me saying, man, they made these a lot harder. I remember saying I wanted a little more spice in my life, and I got it. Tom made a good point. I think they will definitely do collaboration quests. So the collaboration quests for Rise were the Mega Man quest, the Street Fighter quest, the Sonic quest. Like, I think we're going to get those wild collaboration quests back for different points of gear. But I really hope... I'm very happy with the roadmap, but I want weekly event. I want weekly event quests. And I think that's pretty much the review. Side quest, Sean. What is your favorite thing about Sunbreak so far?
I mean, this is easy, and it should be everybody's answer. The favorite thing about Sunbreak so far is the follower quests.
Follower quests. I like the follower quests. It's one of my favorite things, but I think... I don't know. I actually don't know. I think it's probably the new skills and the new mechanics, but the more I think about that, the more I'm not sure, because I really enjoy the new monster hunts. I really, really enjoy the new vibe and theme a lot more than I thought. Like, I just have a different feeling when I open up the game and I go to the main hub than I did with Kimura. Kimura, it was just the background, but this, I feel like I'm just like, I appreciate it a lot more. And maybe that'll wear off the longer I'm in there. But the new
Toxic,
vibe...
welcome in.
Hey, Toxic, what's up? I will let you play my PlayStation. You can play Iceborne. I will play Iceborne eventually, maybe after Sunbreak, but I have World on PC. I just need to get Iceborne, and I will, because it goes on sale constantly. But yeah, I would say the depth of the weapons and the skills and the armor, like the mechanical stuff, predictably, from me, is my favorite thing. Because I know how much fun I'm going to have experimenting with new weapons. I've already played a little bit with that and the lance, and I've already loved the changes to gun, lance, and hammer. So I'm looking forward to circling back and doing all the quests, filling out the quest log with different weapons. I think that's my favorite, is the variety and the different depth of weapons. Yeah, you all can hunt me with Iceborne. You guys are going to carry me through Iceborne if I play with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. Corporal, what else? Is that it? I think that's it.
That's all I got. Did you see the dad joke that Fate Maker dropped in?
No, I didn't. I missed it.
Oh, I have a 5-minute walk from my house to the bar, but a 35-minute walk from the bar to my home. The difference is staggering.
That's great and frighteningly accurate for certain stages of my life when I lived within walking distance of bars, but they became so much more of an adventure getting home than they were getting there. Shout out to Red Bank. Love it so much. Yes. Yeah, so that is our review. Again, thank you, Capcom, for the codes. Hold on. What would you rank Sunbreak out of 10? Because we did rank Rise in our... And this is just the first review. Like, we're going to have to... Cluck You! Yes. Oh, man. Drunken Nights at Cluck You. I'm amazed we were allowed back into that place. Yeah, we did Rise, the initial review. And
remember what my review number was for Rise?
I think it was 9, and I think mine was 8 for base Rise. Because we did the initial review with Cham and Snorkelbum, and then we did our year later review after we'd had time to sit with it and everything, and Rise was basically done. And I presume we're going to do the same thing for Sunbreak. And I'm pretty sure you gave Rise a 9, and I think I gave it an 8. I'm
currently sitting with Monster Hunter Sunbreak, Rise Sunbreak, at a different emotional point than what I think you are. So I think I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Okay. I thought you were gonna give it a 7 because you do not sound happy about these master rank hunts.
But I want to give it a 7, but at the same time I have to respect how much fun it can be with a team and how much enjoyment I get out of like doing it with a group. So,
and you know that you are slacking with your gear.
I mean, yes.
King George gives it an 11. He thinks it's a great game. George, do you have Sunbreak?
T Silva 12. It's added points because of all the people I hunt with, making it even more incredible.
Oh, you can't factor the community in ranking a Monster Hunter game, because then that just... I mean... And then every game is like a 30 by default.
T Silva knows how to rank well.
I will say that I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Because I know that there's more. I know I haven't finished it. We haven't gotten all the content updates. We haven't got weekly quests. I have to leave it some room to breathe. You know what I mean? I know that there's going to be more added to the game that's going to shock and amaze me. I haven't even gotten through the whole base game. So I have to give it... It's 9.5 for me, but I know that last 0.5 is going to get filled up for me. Because it's already my favorite game on the Switch. He knows. He doesn't say my name right on purpose. Yes, he knows. I don't, but I've seen you play it, and it feels like I've played it. Yes, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good about being a content creator, because if you feel like you've played it by watching me play it, that's a good feeling. We got to get you a damn Switch though, George, so that you can actually play with us.
I mean, Christmas is coming.
Oh yeah. T Silva. Take a spelling potion. No, we love T Silva.
T.S. Villa.
What a comment, George, says Tom on Twitch. If you're looking in the chat and you're like, who are they talking to? There's Twitch chat and there's Facebook chat, and we're talking to both at the same time. But you guys are interacting with each other through us, which is kind of fun to see. I should really implement bringing in the Twitch chat on the left and then the Facebook on the right. Oh, George says, Jinx, you owe me a soda, and by soda he means a Switch. All right, everybody, that is our show. I think, are we doing a co-stream on Friday, or you are doing Friday and I'm doing Saturday again?
We haven't quite figured out how that's going to work.
I don't know. You're going to see at least one of us on Friday, maybe both of us. And then you might see me on Saturday, you might see me on Friday. I'm everywhere. I'm just going to pop up. You don't know. You have to tune in to find out. But either way, we'll have the lobbies open to play with y'all. Thank you guys. You guys are the best community ever. We appreciate you. And we love you.
We love you all.
You're the only thing better to me than Sunbreak. All right, everybody. We will catch you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.
Peace.